Hello everybody, it's October 27th, 2023. We're going to take a look at what Bitcoin did this week. First up, what I said on Monday. The bulls were back. It invalidated the immediate bearish setup I was looking at. The bullish macro viewpoint still has some issues. I went over the really concerning issues the bulls have. Summary here. The bulls would basically be making a large diagonal. Diagonals are unreliable, and it still needs to make a wave 4 and a wave 5. Even in the micro, basically we're doing a smaller diagonal within the larger diagonal, so that makes it double unreliable, in my opinion. And I said on Monday, just based on the micro, the action today probably completed that wave 3 of A of 3. And so I said we're probably looking at chop / pullback soon for 4. Over the course of the coming week. And that is exactly what we've seen, is that chop / pullback. The bearish macro viewpoint is still quite valid. We do have 5 waves down. Potentially, and we could still be in this larger second wave. It can go up to 47.5, even up to 55.3. Doesn't actually invalidate it until it gets above 55.3. So, I would much prefer if the bulls were doing something, a structure that was much more clearly bullish than they are. And because they're not, we really have to take that bearish viewpoint into consideration. So. At the time, there was no evidence of a top, and there was no bearish micro as of Monday. And technically, that's still true. All right, so that was what I said on Monday. Let's take a look at what we did. The rest of the week was choppy sideways. And so I did go over with members. We had ABC action, and right here I said to members, I anticipate that we are going to come back down into the green box, because all we have right now is ABC down, ABC up, and so we're probably going to see another move down into this green box, and that essentially forms a larger ABC or WXY. And so that's basically what happened there. It may not be done. We may see another move down and kind of reset this Y lower. It would kind of make sense because it didn't break the low of that W there. But it could technically be done with that little spike down there. So because of that, we don't really have a super bearish outlook right now, although I can argue that this is 5 waves here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Could potentially be a 5 wave down, but that may very well just be 5 waves in a C wave. Instead of this being a WXY, it can be a ABC, and there are supposed to be 5 waves within C, so that's a possibility. This would be a diagonal down. P.S. This is not an impulse down. So again, not a super bearish outlook right now. So what does that mean? Well, potentially it can mean one of 2 things, ideally. First thing it could mean is that this plans on going up and actually making a 5 wave 3, like that. That's a possibility. And so we may see this push up a little bit higher into the 37s, maybe 38, something like that. Let's just take a look. Let me try to pull back here. It's so choppy, it's hard to determine what exactly is going on, but yeah, I would have to say that would be 5 waves there if that's what it's doing. Let's see. So this would basically be probably still 1, although if we're going to get 5 waves up in 3, we would have expected 5 waves up in 1. So that's a little weird. But 1, 2, 5 waves up in 3, then we'd get our 4 down there, and then another push up in 5, either as 3 waves or 5 waves. Now the danger here, even if it does 5 waves up and gets us up into that 38 zone, that gets us into this larger 2 danger zone, and then that kind of looks like an ABC up, honestly. But we'll just have to keep watching the micro action and really let that guide us, as I've said, because trying to figure out exactly what it's doing right now is maybe a fool's errand. Because it's been so choppy. So for now, I'm going to leave my primary that this is A, B, and C within 3, but just keep in mind we may see 3 extend. That is a possibility. The other possibility is this is all just chop. It can certainly be making a larger choppy pattern. This can be ABC within a larger W. We can see ABC up. We can then see another ABC down / sideways. We may be stuck in this range for quite some time here, right, with just 3-wave moves. So that's what I'm going to be watching. If this does go up, does it do so as 3 waves? And if so, I will then expect it to go lower once again, either straight to that trend line or choppy sideways to that trend line. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on right now, is just that micro action, really. And we'll go from there. So I think that pretty much sums it up. You know, I don't really have much to say other than I still anticipate a larger pullback in 4 or more extended sideways action at some point, keeping in mind that we may push up into the 36s or 37s as an extension of 3 in the meantime. But no real guarantees either way. Also, as an aside here, just kind of looking at this again, trying to figure out what would be kind of the max pain scenario for the largest number of people. You can pretty clearly call this a breakout of that level, right? And so I think, you know, the majority of market participants have turned pretty bullish on Bitcoin at this point. So to me, max pain would be that it comes back down, and it could honestly do that within this yellow scenario that I was looking at as primary before. This can be W, that can be X, or I'm sorry, this can be A, as I said before, A. This can be B, because honestly we still just have 3 waves. It's a very extended 3 waves, but it is just 3. And then we could get a C wave back down into this low 20K area that I was continually saying was my primary scenario. So technically not completely invalidated at this point. It can absolutely be doing an expanding flat correction like that. And it would be fairly typical of Bitcoin to do something like that. But I won't honestly expect that unless the micro action tells me to. And the biggest thing that would tell me that is probably breaking down below, you know, below that trend line. If we start breaking down below it, then I'm going to say, yeah, you know what, we are probably going back into that larger yellow box that I was originally looking at. But until that happens, I will continue to look for support for this wave 4 wherever it ends up happening. All right, everybody, that's all I've got for you. I will talk to you all again on Monday, assuming we have any worthwhile action over the weekend. Have a great one. I'll talk to you then.